PADLOCK experience. What we're going to be doing here today is actually trying to get to Tainted Isaac. Already, as you see, I have Spectral Tears, and oh, gotta love the Quintuplet ability. Every time you kill one enemy, they turn into a baby for you, and it happens about 5 times. Bum, 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 bum. No more than 5 times, but it does wind up being something that's like, since you're in a smaller room with like bosses, most bosses produce enemies, you're gonna wind up having like damage output like this, which is really good. Boom, 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 boom. I keep doing it. Boom, 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 boom. But welcome to the PADLOCK experience with your boy Rob, as we try to get to Tainted Isaac. Now, right there, Host Hat, one of the best abilities you could have. Abilities, passive items, as the Host Hat, you can't get damage from bombs, so you can just start laying down bombs if you need to. And with Spectral Tears, as you know, you can shoot through most anything. You can shoot through anything to get to your enemies. As you can see, when you're seeing the babies develop, even if you're like breaking apart enemies that produce flies, bam, you get a baby. The enemies that just do anything for you, you're gonna have these babies doing damage for you, which is great. You're gonna see a lot of that happening, and I'm not gonna have too much of the Isaac gameplay. It's gonna be just more like what I'm doing, and how I got there. This was my first time actually fighting the big King Kong looking dude. But see, there's damage output from the babies, and they're helping me as well. And you could get any kind of baby on here. The best one to get would be obviously Rotten Baby and Little Brim. Right here you see the damage output. It's fantastic. Just gotta love it. Gotta love it. Always having the HP up. But this is at that moment I was able to get many trinkets, which is good, because to get to the tainted side of your character, you have to have that red key. You have to have the trinkets in the boss rooms. I did a few runs, and I mistakenly kept just forgetting to leave a trinket in the boss or treasure room, because those rooms will repeat. The boss room will repeat, and the treasure room will repeat. The rest of the floor will not repeat the same way. And then you'll run into a plethora of difficult enemies that are just there to like ruin your day. Trust me, it's very annoying. But again, as you're seeing, even the projectiles that some bosses produce, you'll see that you'll get Rotten Baby, you'll get laser babies, tech babies, and all that stuff, which is definitely going to help. You always gotta love Mom fight. It's like, I think they buff Mom, honestly, which is good. Mom kind of needs a buff. It's one of the first endgame bosses you're supposed to run into in Isaac, and I guess she deserves a little bit more respect than she's gotten before. Every time before this, you go run into Mom and you're like, alright, whatever, here we go, don't care about that. But this time, even with the Rotten Babies and all the abilities I picked up, it still took a little while, even with all the hearts, even all the abilities. And I also have Bumbo, the monster Bumbo. Well, he's not really a monster, but I mean, he does good damage and stuff like that. So I mean, that does help. Getting Bumbo, if you do get that, he starts out like this, but then he grows really huge, and he just goes at and attacks enemies. You know, always get the Polaroid. I mean, you can get the Polaroid or the negative, it's fine, it doesn't matter which one. Make sure you find that full card. Don't be a fool, find the full card, and you'll be good to go when you're going to the next round. Well, the next level to the Mausoleum 2. Be careful in Mausoleum 2, those enemies are a little bit more difficult. Very difficult, actually. And once you grab that note, it should be a good, easy time for you, because you have abilities. You're good. You have that energy.
Just get over it.
Oh, if you're going up and you're find Eternal Hearts, it does count. This I did. Some areas of the game are gonna be difficult just going back up. It's purposely made to try to stop you and kill you. And I don't know if that was made sure of by Ed, but I feel like this has been buffed as well, because I had a difficult time just getting back up. I didn't have a difficult time getting hearts or anything like that, or any kind of bosses or anything like that. But just going back up, it felt like a chore now this time than the last time. My damage is only 5, I believe. Yeah, about a 5 from what I'm looking at, and then that still sets the tone. Like, it's still difficult. You know, thankfully I still have the rampaging Bumbo, and I do have the the ability with the little babies to like produce, snap up and be like, pow, help me out babies, and then they do. But this pathway definitely was a lot more difficult than normal, and I have no idea why. I did pick up the $3 ability, which is like your tears have just effects constantly going. And then you're gonna see like the host hat helps with bombs. I was hoping that there wasn't a lot of bombs that I ran into particularly, but again, this run in particular, going back up, I faced a lot of challenges. There were so many rooms where it was just like mid-boss, like not mid-boss, like mini bosses and stuff like that, which was very, very, very annoying. And you know, when you're going through mid-boss after mid-boss after mini-boss after mini-boss, you're just like, oh my god, is there an end to this? Because these mini-bosses have super amount of health, and it's really difficult. You could also, I mean, if you run into beggars, you run into anything else, you might as well spend up your money, spend up your keys, spend your bomb. I mean, don't spend your bombs, but spend up your money, spend up your keys. You're not gonna run into anything else that you're gonna need. And then you're gonna see right at the moment. There you go, the crack key. That is the most important thing. Do not get a red key. Do not get a red key. Only can pick up the crack key, which is actually, you know, if you don't drop a trinket in the boss room, in the treasure room, you will be having a bad time. You're just gonna go to home and doing nothing. That's about it. You're just gonna be sitting there fighting, you know, Dogma, which, oh god, I hate that character. And then through this little time period, you're gonna, oh my god, this is just mid-boss, mini-bosses, mini enemies after mini enemy after mini enemy after mini enemy. And then these guys have super amount of health, and it just keeps happening, and it was just like ridiculous. This didn't happen in any other kind of run I was trying, and that made it more difficult. Thankfully, I have the abilities that I had with Bumbo. I don't know I forgot what it's called, but the Rampage Bumbo definitely like helps out, because I've just been like, whatever, forget it. I don't even care now. It's just, and it just keeps recurring. This is a mini boss, another mini boss, another mini boss. They're not mini bosses, but they are like little parts of the game that are just highly annoying. Like, you have to deal so much damage to this one character, and it's made it difficult just to get back to home. I don't mind. I mean, it makes sense. Thankfully for all the abilities. Oh, passive items. There you go. That's the name for it. I keep saying abilities. It's usually just passive items, which is actually pretty good. Be aware of your passive items. If you're gonna go to home and fight these end level bosses, have more damage. Or have an ability that you could just sit there and then they'll just take damage for you. And you gotta remember, when you're going to home, you are going to run into a lot of opposition. And it's crazy how much opposition you do face. But I don't know whether that was a bit buffed, nerfed, I have no idea. But you will be facing these crazy enemies, so be prepared. It's kind of a bullet hell you'll be going through, so be careful. Alright, we're about to hit home, which is great. Somewhat, kind of, super fantastic, sure. Yay, look at the hat works. Boosh. It's kind of like a helmet, like a military helmet. There you go. Protect your, I was about to say protect your neck. Protect your head. That's what you gotta do, protect your head. And right here, we're gonna see that, yay, we got to unlock the man with the plan. Tainted. Not tainted. Tainted. Tainted Isaac. And remember, it's the red crack key you have to use, so we got Tainted Isaac. I will also show some Tainted Isaac, but I do, in this instance, you're going to see how difficult it can be. I declare Dogma insanely difficult. Again, if you don't have damage, if you don't have some more passive items that are gonna allow you to just continuously do a lot of damage, it's not going to be easy. And yeah, you're seeing now how difficult this can be. Rampaging Bumbo doing ticks of damage. I do have Spider Mod. I picked up the little Spider Mod. He seems very passive, but he can do a lot of good, not damage, I'm sorry, but he can just, get you batteries. He can do this and that and third, but Dogma is nothing to sneeze at. This first instance is, the second phase is this Beyblade feather throwing monstrosity that just constantly attacks you. And remember, it's 1 tick of health unless you have something to some damage resistance. And even though I'm trying my best, death is basically inevitable. Again, you need high damage, you need damage going constantly, or else you're going to face the worst opposition. Dogma is hard, but the point of this is you don't have to beat Dogma to keep your tainted character. That would have been a crazy thing, but you don't have to keep Dogma to get your tainted character. And I should be facing death very soon. Death. That Beyblade stuff, man. It's just. But we still have Tainted Isaac. That's the point of everything, and then they're worth unlocking. They're great characters. You get to see different abilities. Tainted Isaac, he gets to. It's still, you don't have the dice. You don't have the die. But what you do get is you have less space for stuff, but you can actually throw away stuff if you don't want it, which is pretty good, I believe. But when you run into anything such as items, passive items, they'll give you an option, either 1 or 2. That's 1 or 2. Epic app. There's just a little bit more of what Isaac could do. As you see, I have all of the slots filled up. You have 8 slots you can use to fill up. At the moment, I have a good combination of tech with Ipecac, which apparently, as soon as the laser hits anything, it explodes. Great damage on that part. But what I do want people to see is that when you're able to do this, you have to get rid of an item. So on the 8 slots, you can choose. I use the Xbox controller. You use the trigger buttons, go back and forth to see, all right, do I really need this? Do I really want this? I have at the moment, let's see, Bumbo with me, and having Bumbo with you, if you're just trying to collect money, sometimes you don't care or want that. See, Bumbo, there's a switch. You can switch off, and I'm like, all right, the first thing that's highlighted in your 8 items, the first thing highlighted, that will be tossed aside. And when it will disappear, it will stay there. And then you can still hold a activating item, a spacebar item, or an item that you need to fill up for rooms and stuff like that. You can still have that outside of the 8 though. So that's actually pretty good. So obviously, if you still have the, you can still pick up the 6 dice or the 6 die, 100 die, whatever. As I said, having Ipecac and that laser is very damaging. And then you're gonna see that. Okay, so I don't want the I don't want this. I'm gonna switch it out. You switch it out for another character. Bam, there you go. And that has been the unlocking of Tainted Isaac. Thank you for watching.